观众朋友，下午好，欢迎收看英雄联盟职业联赛2014夏季赛事。今天也来到本周赛事的最后一天了。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LPL. This is the League of Legends Pro League, brought to you in part by our friends at Esports Heaven and Games in Asia, and of course, broadcast to you live here in English on Twitch TV. My name is Rapid. I'm here with Nero, and we're going to be taking you through our two best of two games tonight. First, we got to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of the games from yesterday, just in case you missed them. This guy's the MVP. This is Going. It's the top lane for OMG, and I was kind of confused about who exactly we were going to give the MVP to in that last game that OMG had last night, but looks like Going was the guy to win it out. It was a 1-1, so maybe a little bit sloppy early on, but OMG at least did pull out one win. And so we'll be updating you guys on the brackets here in just a second. You can see them on your screen right now. Top of the line is OMG, who are just barely up there in first place with their 1 point that they got yesterday. But today, StarHorn Royal Club will be fighting for the first place spot. And they'll be doing that in a best of 2 versus Invictus Gaming. And then coming up for our second game of the night, it'll actually be LGD taking on World Elite. Once again, looking for those precious spots or chances at the first place. So if World Elite 2-0 today, then they'll get 3 more points, and that'll put them up to 21 points, which is just 2 points off that first place spot. So it's still possible, but let's go ahead and break down some of these standings and what the teams are really playing for here tonight as far as placements.
Alright, so LGD, after winning yesterday's match, they are still in the contention for the playoffs, actually. So they will also be trying really hard to win against World Elite. But here is the real deal. Invictus Gaming, they have not been doing too well lately. While on the other hand, StarHorn, they are fighting for the first place spot. So most probably, they're gonna try the hardest right here, but OMG, oh, they have this first place spot in their eyes too. So actually, just looking at the recent performances of both of the teams in StarHorn versus Invictus Gaming, Invictus actually won 2-0 on a best of 3 on IET like a month ago or something like that. Then at the LPL they got a tie, and then once again a best of 3, but at the Demacian Cup, and StarHorn win 2-0. So what does it leave for today? Well, most recently StarHorn won against Invictus Gaming, so it might be the case here once again. But yeah, StarHorn have been developing quite well. They have switched from this Uzi is the best guy to then Uzi and Insec are the best people on the team, but actually now Korn and Cola are also joining the team as important members. And they are working out the chemistry.
I love that they have the caster's prediction accuracy on there. So the guy in the middle apparently gets more correct predictions, or the most correct predictions. But actually, it was the girl who didn't miss a prediction yesterday. So really nice to see a lot of 2-0 predictions coming out from not just the Chinese casters, but I was looking at some feedback on thoughts before this game, and a lot of 2-0 predictions there. Mostly just because Invictus Gaming has been looking incredibly shaky, and especially in their 2-0 in the Demacian Cup, StarHorn Royal Club have been looking incredibly strong lately, and of course that has been due in part to maybe allowing more star power on the team, rather than just, hey, we're gonna feed our AD carry every game and hope that he carries us through all the way. You can see IG on your screen right now, 50% exactly, and that's about the most perfect score you could give them, and it really highlights a lot of their consistency issues. They won World Elite, which is pretty impressive, and then they picked up wins versus EDG, LGD, and all the teams like in LPL, IG can take any given day, except that their inconsistency plagues them, so the exact opposite is true as well. They can lose to any team out there at any point in time.
The last 4 games for Invictus Gaming at the LPL are actually ties, so that is this perfect 50% for them. But on the other hand, actually, StarHorn, once again, they are the bomb right now. 2-0 against OMG, 2-0 against Edward Gaming. They have beaten all the best teams out there. So what it is to 2-0 Invictus Gaming once again, it's probably gonna be an easy walk for them. But, well, IG definitely will want to get something for themselves right here. And with this new top laner, well, that might be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Do Illusion. Now we're coming into the mid lane. It's Zitai, the man with a champion pool so big it's a champion ocean. You can see, I've watched IG or Illusion's champion pool of his last 3 champions every time we see him, and there's almost no situation in which he like plays the same champion 2 games in a row, with the exception of a game a while ago where he had a couple of Lux games in a row that were somewhat questionable. But there he is, the man with a plan on your screen, Kid. And the plan for StarHorn Royal Club has been to just feed him as much as possible and let him carry them out. But recently it has been a little bit more of a switch to let a little bit more carry potential out there. And Kid and Kitties, though, while they may not, nobody's going to tell you that Kid and Kitties are the strongest duo lane in LPL. When they look good, they look incredible. Kitties especially. If you give that man a Thresh or any sort of like big engaged playmaking support, he knows when to go in.
Yeah, but lately we have seen actually a lot of Thresh bans against PYL, against Kitties, against pretty much every other player in the LPL. So I don't think that we'll get to see this champion. But here we go, StarHorn Royal Club. The last performance is EDG OMG. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, they're looking like Young Glory, taking wins off the top 2 teams. Of course, SHRC 2-0'd OMG, whereas Young Glory was only able to make it a 1-1. So, you know, doing the best they can. And 65% win rate on the season, still not very impressive, but keep in mind, most of these teams, when they do pick up wins, or both of these teams, when they pick up wins, they tend to tie it up. I think both of them have lead the league in ties this game with 7 and 6 respectively. Or maybe it's 8 and 7 respectively, I believe. So there he is, one of the biggest stars in China. It's UZI. And a couple of quirky games in there with a Kog'Maw. The same thing that I said for Kid is kind of true here, but more so with StarHorn. And one of the big reasons behind their rise to power is maybe taking UZI out of the spotlight. Last split, it was UZI all the way. Everybody sort of lines up behind them, hops in UZI's backpack, and he carries them on to victory. But with Korn starting to see a little bit more kill credit and getting in there with some, still like the big passive wave clears mid laners, but able to have a little bit more kill participation, they're realizing, it feels to me like StarHorn Royal Club are realizing the benefit of more than just one carry, more than just one star, letting everybody else put in some work. Insect 3 Rengar games in a row. How do you feel about that, Nero?
Oh, that is definitely interesting, but Rengar was the first champion that he brought into China that when he started playing in StarHorn. That was the first champion that he played, and that was a champion that he's done incredibly well with also. So, well, it definitely is a good thing for him. But actually, Rengar has not really been working out too well for Soist, so some of the junglers in the LPL seem to struggle with it. And yeah, actually, talking about this bottom lane of StarHorn Royal Club, it is godly. Right now, it's not like Uzi is out of the spotlight at all. He's sitting at the top of the kill standings. He's the first place killer in the LPL. And then alongside him is Zero, who's the first place in assists in the standings.
And that's something really spectacular to notice. And I didn't mean to take anything away from UZI. He is still, by and far, one of the star players on the team. But instead of it just being the UZI show all the time, it's more of a team effort, not just everybody sacrificing as much as they can to give as much to UZI as he can possibly handle. Which is a deviation from the way you saw them play at the beginning of the split, when they definitely did not look like the first place team that they have been last week, or this week, rather. And now we're here in Champion Picks and Bans for game number 1. It's best of 2. We're starting out with IG on the blue side. Like you said, new top laner coming in. And to be honest, for top lane, IG have been struggling a little bit since the departure of PDD, who was one of the most, if not the most iconic figure in Chinese League of Legends. Big guy in the top lane, incredible presence in game, and now, or in and out of game. And now with DO coming in there, I'm not sure exactly the correct pronunciation of that, but that's why I have Nero here to help me out.
Yeah, it's most probably Do. Simply.
Right. Simply. It's okay. Alright, well, Do in the top lane. He's going to be doing the picks and bans here, and he's locked out both champions from Insect, so you can really see a lot of pressure, not just in this game, but in previous games as well, putting the pressure on Insect's somewhat limited champion pool.
Yeah, and as we expected, there is this Lucian ban on towards Uzi. Oh, this is gonna be interesting, but, well, Insect, it's not like you can really ban him out. He's an incredibly experienced jungler, so he'll just go for something else. Or bring something new to the table.
Well, and keep in mind that might not even be a Lucian ban against UCI. It could be versus Korn. OMG picked up their defeat yesterday versus We Academy at the hands of a mid lane Lucian. So definitely want to keep Lucian out of the hands of just about everyone in this patch. It is 2.12 or 4.12 where Lucian is just a monster. So keeping that out there. And the top lane picks are not a surprise to just about anyone. It's Maokai and Gragas. Gragas, the former king of top lane. Maokai coming back in as sort of the new flavor, and maybe Alistar making his way into the top lane, but LPL haven't quite caught on to that trend just yet.
Alright, so I was expecting this Lee's pick, but actually when he hovered over Jarvan, it still would have been a nice pick. But yeah, there's still open Yasuo, there's still a lot of different champions to get picked up. There's Thresh, of course, for Kitties, so that might also be a possibility.
Zatai hovering over Udyr. Wouldn't expect to see the Udyr come out just because I remember like last season maybe like one game of Udyr, but I could be misremembering that. The big thing to notice is avoiding the jungle pick just because it's not a big mystery that Insect's going to go with Elise here, so you can afford to maybe delay that and grab a big power lane like that Thresh for Kitties and Kid on that Corki champion that he played in the last 2 out of the 3 last games that he had. So Corki, you're seeing a trend a little bit more heavily towards the end of this season, at least deviating away from the Kog'Maw Tristana that we're used to.
Yeah, so, well, Kitties will never skip a Thresh if it's open. And Uzi, we have seen a Vayne yesterday.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Alright, it's Vayne Nami. Usually you see the Kog'Maw Nami lane, and honestly, there's nothing wrong with picking a Kog'Maw comp here. Like, you got a bunch of CC and a big man to throw in front of him. But now it's the jungle choice, and this could be what turns things around for IG. If you go with a Jarvan, then you do have a lot of potential to just lock down Vayne and maybe keep her a little bit more corralled, unless she just tumbles out of your Cataclysm, which is a thing sometimes. But if you go with the Evelynn, you're looking to put on so much early pressure that it really punishes UZI for picking such a weak AD carry. Could see that locked in. I'd like the Jarvan from Illusion, but Illusion has always been one of these like super sneaky junglers. Used to play a ton of Fiddlesticks before the nerfs and always knew how to get into those sneaky positions to get off some big ults.
And sometimes even played this Fiddlesticks after the nerfs, which wasn't too successful.
Oh my gosh, so hopefully not seeing that champion out there anymore, but with Evelynn locked in and a mid lane rise for Zatai, he'll be bringing that out against Korn's Yasuo, so carries on the carries, tanks on the tanks, and a very big support lineup for both sides. Zero looking to redeem the Chinese Nami name, hitting a couple of big tidal waves, and Kitty's on arguably his strongest support this season.
And yeah, Korn, he did pick up this Yasuo as I expected, but Uzi, we have seen this Vayne yesterday, and it was quite spectacular. Actually, it got completely shut down in lane, but then in the team fights it started doing a lot, and it was at just the 20th minute mark. So if Uzi can play it well in the early game, he can really carry the game once again. So there goes your all talk about him not being in the spotlight anymore.
I was gonna say, you're gonna see a lot of spotlight this game, and honestly, we gotta highlight the bottom lane. Kid and Kitties are turning heads, and I really like the Thresh pickup. I don't understand how you can give Thresh away that easily to... it's not even like it's a mystery. It's like, hey, this guy plays Thresh. He's really good at it. Let's give him Thresh and put a very high pressure lane, a very high Thresher lane, if you will, versus a late game Vayne. Like, I mean, I get that Nami's good at kind of, protecting your AD carry, but at the same point, you can't expect that these guys are going to go 2-on-2 bottom.
Yeah, we'll see it. Once again, there's a Maokai coming into the play up against the Gragas. So, well, it should be okay for StarHorn in the top lane, but as you said, they might be looking for a lane swap.
I'll give you guys a little bit of an update. Two series today are StarHorn Royal Club versus IG, and the second one tonight will be LGD versus World Elite. And then quick update on the standings before we head in here. StarHorn Royal Club are playing for first place, and all they have to do is pick up 2 wins to get it. Of course, IG will be fighting for their place in the playoffs, and they will need a 2-0 to make it there. Hopping into game number 1 as IG take on StarHorn.
The game kicks off. We are in the Summoner's Rift, and that will most probably be a very interesting game, especially because of the picks that are there. And Illusion, yeah, he is the guy that usually relies on a lot of early pressure, and he's pretty much famous for it. He usually plays all the champions that can kill in the early game a lot, and then he falls down a little bit. But actually, I still remember his Pantheon, and I do want to see it sometime again.
I want to see Pantheon, Talon, a lot of big 80 mid laners, but probably seeing more of those out of you know, guys like Ninja, like Mickey God. Not gonna see those from. Well, I guess you can see them out of Zitai. He plays anything and everything, but he's going Ghost Flash Rise this time. So when it comes team fight time, he is going to be incredibly mobile, and it's going to be very difficult to keep him off the enemy carries, which is primarily going to be Cola's job. Maybe Insect Dive in the back line. So Kid and Kitty's setting up towards the bottom half of the map, and actually so are Uzai and Zero. So it does look like we'll have a 2v2 to start things off, which is actually kind of surprising given that, you know, Corki is very strong early on with Phosphorus Bomb, Harass, and Trinity Force power spikes, whereas Uzai might take a little bit more time in team fights to ramp up.
And for now, I'm definitely interested the most in the middle lane. Yasuo versus Arise, so we don't usually see a matchup like that. And of course there's the lockup, the Ruined Prison coming up from Zitai, so he may deliver a little bit of a counterplay to all the dashes that Yasuo can come up with.
Yeah, anybody like Ari, like Yasuo, who's like super mobile, you just pick Rise, lock them down, and then they kind of tend to die pretty quickly after that. So the big guy to watch out for in this game, even though the bottom lanes is where all the hype is at, is the mid lane, Korn. His performance in the last few victories that StarHorn has picked up against the top teams in LPL have been ones where Korn has carried really, really hard. So the more kills Korn gets, the better he tends to do, or the better that his team tends to do. So that's where I'm going to be putting a lot of my focus this game. He's running Exhaust on his Yasuo, so Exhaustuo, not really a common summoner spell. You expect to see the Ignite for the aggression, but he's actually playing a little bit safer.
Yeah, up against this Rise, well, that's what you said. They usually tend to die really quickly, so that's what this Exhaust is for. But in the bottom lane, we have a lot of aggression from
coming
StarHorn.
in, and he's gonna flash out there. Illusion gets the follow-up. Now there's one kill. Zero, he'll be forced to flash. Where's the follow-up? No. Hook left from Kitties. 3 out of 4 summoners blown for IG in the bottom lane, but the payoff, and they take all the summoners of StarHorn Royal Club with them.
And the first blood on towards UZI, so he is not gonna be as effective on this Vayne already, but he still can stay in the game. But actually, I just wanted to say StarHorn were so aggressive in the bottom lane. They were just poking this Corki, they were just poking Thresh, and then comes Evelyn from behind, and they get blown up.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. Illusion is so sneaky. That's exactly why he was such a great Fiddlesticks player back when Fiddlesticks was good and not horribly nerfed. Because he would get into positioning like that, and it's really easy on Evelyn. You don't have to worry about walking through wards. And honestly, that was a little bit of a misplay by StarHorn, because they know the gank timing. Like, it's no mystery that first gank of the game comes around the 3 to 4 minute mark when you have standard lanes like this. So I'm not sure why they were so far pushed up against an Evelyn without any hope of warding against her with no early pink wards. Insect had a nice counter to that. He just walked into Illusion's jungle and took off both camps. But, I mean, you're killing neutral monsters and Illusion's killing champions.
Yeah, Illusion is definitely getting a little bit more for his team, but Insec, well, we might just wait a couple of minutes and then he'll start being effective. It's Insec, he will start to do something finally, but the question is when, and, well, Illusion once again on the aggression.
Kid and Kitties with a nice advantage down there in the bottom lane. They don't have an item advantage just yet, so it's actually pretty even in the 2v2. But once Kid heads back to base, he'll get a chance to spend that kill gold. And Illusion's going to run into Insec in his own jungle. Illusion might win this early, but Insec's got the sustained damage. Illusion going in for the chase. The repel out gives time for the rest of StarHorn Royal Club to start to collapse. So Illusion going to head out of there. Took a chunk out of Insec.
Actually, no one was even going that way, so...
I think Zero was headed up through the tri-brush, but it was really kind of half-hearted. I think Illusion could have stuck around for maybe a kill, but it would have been close because the cooldown on Insect's Venomous Bite was coming back up.
Yeah, I also think that Insect would have had the edge right there, but yeah, the teleports used up in the top lane. Actually, no, it was just those teleport, because Cola, he interrupted his recall, and he's still sitting on a Doran's ring.
Alright, if this is your first time watching LPL and you're just like, who are these teams? I've heard about Chinese League of Legends. Why should I watch these games? Okay, this is a matchup. First of all, StarHorn Royal Club, they're fighting for first place. And while last season EDG was the dream team, StarHorn has had a lot of internal mix-ups. They've fixed a lot of their problems that they exhibited early on, and now they are sort of the new hotness in LPL, climbing their way up. They were in first place earlier on this week, and now they're looking to reclaim this against IG. And IG, I guess you can kind of compare to teams like maybe Dignitas. They throw a lot of their games. They're incredibly flashy. They make big plays, and they lose equally as big. So we'll see if they can continue their reputation, maybe take some big wins. But another reputation that both of these teams have is going 1-1 in series. And in fact, I think I mentioned the stat earlier. They both have the record for the most ties in LPL this split. 8 for IG and 7 for StarHorn Royal Club. So looks like, oh, Corn's gonna go in on as the tie in the mid lane. No follow-up from Insect, a little bit ahead of schedule, but now they might actually look for the dive under turret. Zatai's got some wave clear. Illusion is waiting right off to the side. Don't go for it. TP canceled. Down to the bottom lane, Kid and Kitties versus Zero and UZI. Zero and StarHorn forced to back off just a little bit. So, a lot of aggression, but not a lot off the back of that.
And not too much mana left on Zero, so they couldn't really continue the fight, but there comes Insec and will not really do anything at all. But the dragon, once again, it is about time that it gets started, but in the previous games, yesterday of course, I mean, this dragon was a little bit delayed.
I don't know why StarHorn didn't just run to Dragon right then. They had forced Zatai back to base, so he was out of the picture. And with no Rise, there's nobody to lock Yasuo down unless you can land Thresh CC onto him. Insec had the ward clear of Dragon, so he could just walk there with the bottom lane. And I don't think IG would have been able to capitalize too much on that, so especially with Illusion being so far out of position. So that was a nice Dragon opportunity, but it's an opportunity missed. StarHorn putting on the pressure, but not getting anything to work. But now, oh, Cola's in a world of hurt. Gets rooted out. Zatai's got the ghost coming down. Rune Prism. Illusion's there for moral support. Cola does get a nice explosive cast, but he's in no man's land. Zatai coming top lane for the second kill of the game on IG.
Well, that was a little bit of unfortunate. But yeah, in a 1v3, it's not much that he could do. And now the dragon is gonna get taken out by StarHorn. So it's kind of okay, but they are once again losing kills in exchange for neutral camps.
The big question for me is, why would you wait for your top lane to die before you go to Dragon? Like, it was pretty free earlier, even when Cola was still alive. And to his credit, new guy on the team, okay, I'm still a little bit unsure, but he had the CC right when he needed, comboed perfectly with Zatai. Nice synergy coming out there, but now Korn is trying to get that wave clear on, but Zatai's got the CC and the CDR to put out over half his health and damage. Korn, it's a little overreaching there.
And so Insec is trying to look for some ganks, but he can never succeed. And once again, comes around the middle lane and just backs off to the raid camp. But I expect to see a little bit more focus around the top lane from StarHorn right now, especially from Insec, that Cola died and though didn't even have a flash right then. So they can still try to bring him down now as he doesn't have this escape summon a spell.
Trading in the bottom lane, but honestly, without the dragon, you're less looking for big objective contesting and more just for the roam. And Zatai has had that roam on point. Used the ghost for a kill up in the top lane. He still has the flash if he wants to make some flashy plays down bottom. But you can see SHRC know exactly what to expect. And now, well, Zatai might actually be in a little bit of a rough spot. He's got illusion clearing wards, so has a backline to back off too. Zatai being aggressive, playing the map, but not able to find anything bottom.
And still no turrets going down, so we don't really see a big advantage in favor of any of the teams. But the kills are definitely on the side of Invictus Gaming. And Nicola once again going for the aggression, but he already lost out by a little bit in a 1v1 against the Smalkai, and then came the gank and then he died. So that's a little bit of a risky move. And now that IG know that they can just punish Cola's over-aggressiveness, they might come there again. But right now, Illusion is looking for a gank around the bottom lane.
Sentence into the box on a Huzi. Gets blown apart. Kitties. Perfect CC chain and combo and Illusions on the back line. Trying to get the repel off. Insect's going to go back under his turret, but that's not safe. Not as safe as he wanted it to be. Kitties starting and finishing so many plays down in the bottom lane. IG exploding to a 4-0 lead.
Yeah, not only getting 2 kills, they also get the turret. So now they are ahead in gold. And now we do have a clear advantage in favor of Invictus Gaming. So yeah, this dragon didn't really give too much to StarHorn in the end.
Well, and really IG have been in the driver's seat for most of this game. They are the ones aggressively forcing plays top lane, bottom lane, mid lane. Even though they did give up the dragon, I mean, dragon respawns, and I guess so did champions, but they've killed 4 champions to just that one neutral objective. And StarHorn Gorilla Club, they're going to have to start pouring on the gas here in just a little bit. As far as scaling is concerned, I mean, maybe you say, hey, Vayne can hyper carry later on. But honestly, Vayne's real limitation is her range. So even if she is going to be a hyper carry, she needs people in front of her. And if you're feeding guys like Kid, who's 3-0 right now, it's going to take a long time for Vayne to be a bigger threat.
And still you're gonna have a Maokai on your face, so it's not like Uzi will do too much.
Perfect cocoon on the Do. Cola's gonna bounce him back. Look at that explosive cast. Lantern perfectly right in time, and Kitties making plays across the map.
StarHorn finally getting a chance for a kill, but still cannot really pull it off. And Korn in the middle lane actually getting a little bit of damage from Illusion, but I don't think that it could have even been a kill. But still, though, wow, how did he make it out alive? And Kitties, how was he around this top lane at the moment? Why was he not in the bottom?
Yeah, exactly. Why is Kitties top at that point? And I think that this is just a realization that IG are not committed to this lane phase. They know that they have the advantage in turrets. They broke the lane phase bottom. So it's actually not necessary to have a 2v2 bottom lane, because Kid can just wait for UZI to push the lane back into him if he wants to farm, and Kitties is allowed to roam across the map. And so Kitties is roaming, Zatai is roaming, he's done it twice already. And with Illusion having such early gank pressure and being all the way in Insect's jungle a couple of times, you can really see IG just playmaking across the map. And now, oh, Kitties, he's looking for the death sentence, and UZI is playing so far back. He is in a horrible spot right now. Valkyrie over the wall from Kid. Flash out. Illusion's there for the damage. The condemned backwards. Death sentence is not going to hit. Kid will be able to finish it off. No, the summoner heal. Or maybe he just canceled that auto attack. Kid unable. Find the chase. Gets bubbled up, but trades back half of his zero's health.
The minions were there, so the turret aggro was not And Uzi, actually, it's really fortunate for StarHorn that he stayed alive because their hopes are still in the game. But when he hits the 0-3, I don't think that he can do too much. And now Illusion gets caught.
Illusion gets blown apart there off the TP from SHRC. They're not in the right place. Now, Corn might be able to kill off Kid, but no, Kid survives. Zero's going to try to turn it back around, but Kid gets the dangerous game, survives, and gets the kill. Kid. Incredible presence down there. Now 6-0-0. He's not sharing with anybody. He's taking all the kills for himself.
And that's so unfortunate when you are the last man standing in a fight and you are the support and someone is very low on health. You do want to kill him so much, but usually you cannot. And that's exactly what happened for Zero. He had nowhere to run and nothing to do against Kid, so that was just his death coming.
Now, even with all this pressure on the bottom lane, Uzi does still have his Blade of the Ruined King, and I guess we'll get a chance to check out this replay real fast. So Illusion face checks into Insect and Corn, and as somebody who's invisible, I feel like you should have a little bit more visibility around you just to make sure that you don't do that. But look at this 3-man knockup from Corn. That was just monstrous. Now Zero comes in here for just the right amount of heals, but it's not enough. Kid able to close things out and finish it off. 2 carries versus a support and carry, probably still win. SHRC way on the back foot now. Mid lane is, I guess, kind of even, but bot lane is over. Kid coming out of lane a monster.
And Korn, actually, I just noticed he was so immobile in this fight. Like, he threw out the last breath and then was standing on the face of Kid for the whole time being. He could have just slided to lose a little bit of damage from this. Skoki's barrage, but now Illusion once again.
Yeah, Illusion
gets the dragon.
He got the smite steal off, so Illusion, if he's gonna be taken out so easily all the time, you better be able to steal things away, and he got it. So congratulations to him. He may be 0-2, but he's still picking up big objectives for his team. And even though he did have to die there, it's gold coming IG's way, and now even with the 4v5, they're probably still strong enough to go for these pushes, even if they can't get through that wind wall.
Well, the gold difference is not too big, and StarHorn, they were lucky on the kills.
On to Corn. Look at that chunk damage from Zatai. He's already got Rod of Ages, Tear of the Goddess, and a glacial, what is that item? Ah, man, it's leaving my
Glacial
brain.
Shroud.
Great Glacial Shroud. There we go. I was thinking like Spectral Cow, and I was like, wait, that's the wrong item. But yeah, and it doesn't even look like a shroud. It looks like a shield. Like, I'm not sure exactly why where that's coming from. But regardless, he has a ton of mana, all the stacking items he could possibly want. Zatai is going to be a monster. Kid's already strong, 6-0-0, and you just have to kind of look towards StarHorn and ask who's going to be the one carrying out their game.
Oh, that is gonna be a long way. Of course, Korn can dish out some damage right now, but Uzi, he'll start being effective at like 50 minutes only.
Now, one benefit that we have of this game is that you know, the AD carries are Uzi and Kid. Both of them have movement skills that they can use to fling their bodies wholeheartedly into the middle of the enemy team. So just when you think this early game means that, you know, this game is over, you have to kind of think about the way that IG and StarHorn have been playing their series all split long. And it has been ones of great happiness and then terrible sadness when you realize that they have had so many games won that they wind up losing in the end that you can never make calls too early on. And while Kid, yes, is very, very strong, that strength doesn't mean anything when you Valkyrie into the middle of the enemy team. So we'll have to keep an eye out on the AD carries, make sure they keep themselves safe and sound. Illusion gets boarded out there. Good guy, Zero. Scouting out the invisible Evelyn.
Alright, so still, just looking at the kills, 7-3 in favor of IG, 2-0 in favor in the turrets of IG, of course, and 1-1 in the Dragons, and the goal is still so close.
Tidal Wave gonna come out, sets up for a huge knockup. There's Korn going in there, but he'll actually be forced to flash away. Now Cola big and tanky, but look at Zero, just gets exploded. Zatai's AoE combined with Kid. That is just way too much stack damage for StarHorn to deal with. They lose their support, hang on to their tower. They are not looking good for this defense.
Right, so you have a Yasuo in your team, you get a knockup, perfect, awesome, but you don't want to use your ultimate on the Maokai.
Insect does get the repel off. Now, Illusion might have overdove, but he flashes out. Cola stays alive. The Ignite ticking down, takes him out. Corn trying to go back in onto Kitty, finds that kill. It's Corn and Insect versus Kitties. They could turn this around. They missed the knockup. One more auto attack. It's Insect for the kill. A 3-for-3 exchange overall. StarHorn turn that siege around and do defend their turrets. So you can see the grimace on Zatai's face. He knows he got a little caught that time. So unfortunate at best for IG. StarHorn showing signs of life.
Alright, so I'm really glad that this worked out for StarHorn because the engage was just horrible. You knocked up, you used the Nami ultimate and the Yasuo ultimate just on a Maokai. Well, that's not too good, if you ask me, but then they got the kills as a follow-up, so it's still quite okay.
And that's the thing that I love about Chinese League of Legends, at least from a spectator perspective. Nobody is ever in the driver's seat. Like, maybe one team has an advantage, but games swing so far back and forth and back and forth. You know, analytically, technically, you might call it throwing, but from a spectator's standpoint, it's still good to see. Now look at this cocoon. Insect cocoons Kitties, but Zatai turns it right back around. And this is where IG overcommit. Illusion goes deep underneath the turret, and there's nobody there to follow it up. Now, Cola dies in the back line, but it's to Kitty's Ignite, not the Kid. And with Zatai flashing underneath the turret, that's where Corn's exhaust comes in. He finds a kill onto one carry, gets the damage down onto Corki, and then that's all she wrote for Kitties too. Even though Corn misses just about everything, he's got Insect to finish off the kill with a Neurotoxin. And that is the completion of StarHorn's comeback in the top lanes. So the Chinese commentators are making pew pew noises to illustrate the damage that was coming out from Uzi that fight. So cool to see signs of life from StarHorn, but they still have to find a way to consistently deal with Kid.
Right, but still, actually Illusion stayed alive at like 5 points of health after this fight, so it could have been even better for StarHorn. And the gold, it didn't change at all. It's still 2k in favor of Invictus Gaming.
Okay, IG, they're grouping up around Dragon. It's not up for another 30 seconds, but that gives them time to set up some ward coverage, which they will unfortunately do inadequately and leave one in the Dragon Pit. At least that's the way it looks like on my screen. But they are in the area and they're setting things up, even though, like I said, they did miss a ward right in the middle of the Dragon Pit. Hopefully they'll find a sweeper for that here in a second. But IG, I think they're grouping up less here for the Dragon and more to force a fight with StarHorn. Because with an 80 carry as strong as Kid is right now, they need to press this objective home and can't just allow SHRC to split and farm.
Yeah, but you cannot sit in a place like that, like a Dragon Pit or a Baron Pit, up against the Nami. If all of you get locked up, it's not gonna be a good time for you, especially with a Yasuo right there. So Korn might be looking for an engage from Zero to follow it up in a perfect last breath.
Kitties with a miss on that death sentence. He's no engage for him right now. StarHorn are going to fight here. They just have to look for it. So they can Gragas ult, they can Nami ult. There's going to be a knockup on the back line. Where's Korn going in? He missed the knockup on a Kid in the back line. So they're just going to have to go for it front to back, and they're going to take down the first casualty of the game. Is Kitty's going down. Insect tries to repel, but he's just barely able to survive. It's StarHorn maybe coming out of this alive, but they can't deal with the Kid. Finally, Insect lands a cocoon, but he's not going to make it out of this one alive. Illusion going to keep the chase on. It's Zatai coming from the back side of the team fight, backside of the alphabet too, with his name, and able to take down 3 for 2. Team fight still in favor of IG, but now, oh, Uzi, what's he gonna do here? Illusion might go down here. One last auto attack, he finds the kill in the 1v3. Illusion, a little too far forward there. IG still looking for the Dragon.
Yeah, but I don't know what to think of this fight. Once again, StarHorn, they threw out the Nami ultimate, and once again, guess what? It just hit a Maokai.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Well, actually, the Nami ult did hit Kid in the backline. It hit both Kid and Zatai, and Korn didn't ult on them. Like, that was the big mystery for me. Like, it's ult's up.
I think he was out of range. Like, I only saw the Maokai knockup.
How are you ever out of range of a Yasuo ult? Like, if you're standing at base and, like, somehow somebody gets knocked up on the enemy fountain, you just hit the R button and you're there. That thing has an incredible range. But like you said, yeah, maybe he was just barely out. next time, that is the knockup that StarHorn need to hit.
And Gragas ult, also I did not really see it doing too much. And StarHorn, they just need to work on like coordination. If they want to go for a fight at a dragon pit, then just lock your enemies up in the dragon pit instead of going for the ultimates one after another and not combined.
Now, Illusion has had better jungle pressure this game, able to roam around the map very early on, but his time is starting to fall off. He's starting to have to build tank instead of damage, and that means that his function now is less to find, ganks and picks, and more to start fights with his ultimate. And he might actually look to do that here on a Zero. The death that it's missing again. Still a nice bit of damage by Illusion done to Zero IG, just kind of wavering here in the mid lane without the ability to force a fight.
So actually this game looked like it's gonna be an easy game for Invictus Gaming at the early stages, and right now it's still no one's game, but Kid, he's the one guy that makes it happen for IG at the moment. He's pretty much unstoppable on this Corki.
There is the ultimate. We got Illusion starting the fight, but he gets his entire shield blown apart before he can even get back in there. But now Corn, way too far forward. Corn gets taken out, and now it's Cola. Everybody dropping from StarHorn, Royal Club, IG. Too much damage on the back line. And with 3 for 0 exchange, they're going at Baron.
And this time around, Korn got perfect knockups, but well, he still didn't hit the R button. He was locked up by the die, of course, but still not being able to pull it off, and a big bit of damage is gone for StarHorn in a fight, and they cannot really bring anyone down. And IG, as you said, they will take the Baron, so now they have a crushing advantage over SH.
I still believe in the IG ability to throw. I have seen them literally have the Nexus down to 2 HP, throw at the Nexus, and then lose the game. So actually, Uzi, I gotta find out Doe here, but it's not just a 1v1. You can't expect, he's like, hey, I'm gonna chase this guy who's out of position right through his jungle. I'm not sure why Uzi was there. Like, how do you even get there? I think he was running away after the fight and just wound up in the middle of the enemy jungle. But, the struggle. Okay, here's the knockup that you're looking for. Big knockup right into the back line onto Kid and Kitties. He doesn't take it. Cola is busy, or Korn rather, is busy getting locked down and taken out. That phosphorus bomb did like a quarter of his health. Now Cola's gonna die. Insec is not where he wants to be, in the middle of the enemy team. And that's all she wrote. IG take the fight and the Baron. To follow it up, Uzi will now have respawned, so he'll be back in his own base instead of back in the enemy base, which is just about where he died.
Yeah, but that's really weird how he got there, because when he was running away from the fight, he was going towards his own base, and then somehow he rotated it and things happened. Not very fortunate things for StarHorn Royal Club.
Now, StarHorn do have pretty good pick potential if they want to just sit Korn off maybe by himself. But the problem is, like, what do you do against Maokai right now? Like, maybe that's why Uzi went for the Vayne pick, and I guess Vayne would do okay versus Maokai, but it's never going to be just Maokai. Maokai's going to, like, root you, and then it's Zitai and Kid who are just going to blow everything apart. Or maybe Do just has to, like, root the enemy dive team off of Zitai and Kid. Just let them go to work. So there's a lot of big options, and even with teleport, Do can split push. So it's like, when he's in the fight, he's effective. When he's split pushing side lanes, he's effective. I don't know why Maokai does not get banned every game, but Do is making a solid case for him. And even though he doesn't have that many good stats, he's 1 and 2 right now. He does have 8 assists, and he doesn't have the 0-4 score that Cola does.
There were the Maokai bans yesterday, but today not really. There were more important things to ban for IG. On the other hand, StarHorn did have just 3 bans, so they couldn't ban out everything that they wanted to. And yeah, this Maokai is definitely doing a lot, but Zitai pick up this rise, and it's actually working out quite well. He dishes out a lot of damage. He's not doing too bad. 3-1-11 is definitely good, but Kid 13-1-3 sitting on an Infinity Edge and a Trinity Force for like 15 minutes already.
Yeah, he went Sork Shoes too, so he is going to be dealing a lot of damage. Now Kitty's locked up underneath the turret. No engage onto that though. Because StarHorn, like, what is their big plan to start this fight here? They have like a Nami wave and an explosive cask, and you have to combo those with Korn, because otherwise it's very unlikely that Korn will get a good enough knock-up to penetrate the back line and get onto the carries. So it's rough dealing with this siege here. Insec, he's poking things out with spiders. Maybe want to fish for a cocoon, but even if he lands one, StarHorn are just too scared to go in. And Do's taking out 2 turrets as the split push Maokai. I don't think that's supposed to work out that way, but Do is making it. And why Uzi isn't splitting versus the Maokai, I don't know. Like, he has a Frozen Heart, but that's the only armor item he has. So I'm still pretty sure Uzi could do well in that split push matchup.
And IG, they pretty much take whatever they want right now. They get the turret, and another turret, and a dragon. And StarHorn cannot really find the answer. And there is no answer, to be honest, for them right now. They should be waiting for this Vayne to actually get strong in the late game, but that's not gonna happen. IG is just gonna destroy them before.
Now, Kid and Zatai, they're gonna... I feel like this is mostly bait. It's like, hey, let's send our carries to push into the enemy base. A big knock-up on Zatai, but no follow-up. And this is where IG just reveal their trap card. It's in the back line, and it's the entire rest of their team waiting right around the corner. They dive through the turret, find 1, 2. It's Korn and Zero who are just going to get zeroed out. Now Insect will repel out, but can he get back far enough in time? Illusion's going to chase him down behind the turret. And IG might have overdove here just a little bit. Cola does take a lot to take down, but he does wind up falling, and only Insect left alive with Uzi. Uzi is just AFK on the fountain. He knows this game's over. Only so much carrying a Vayne can do. And IG, with an incredible 15-1-3 performance from Kids Corky. That bottom lane looking incredibly strong, and the Vayne pick just not working out for SHRC. IG will push through 1 turret, 2 Nexus turrets. They'll take down the Nexus for a Game 1 victory over StarHorn Royal Club.
So actually, Do got knocked into Uzi in the last fight, but actually, no, there's no damage coming out anymore. But yeah, Do got knocked into Uzi in the last fight, so I expected this ult to go boom and destroy Uzi, but actually no, Do did just not trigger the ultimate throughout the whole entire fight. So, well, he could have got another kill right there, but it doesn't really matter at all, since IG do secure the first match of this best of 2. They'll be looking for a 2-0, so StarHorn getting quite far away from this first place.
And that is going to be Game 1 going to Invictus Gaming as they take that victory over StarHorn Royal Club. We'll be coming back into our second game of this best of 2 series to see if SHRC can at least tie first place by picking up 1 win here versus IG. So stick around for about 10 minutes. Come back with game number 2 coming your way. This is the LPL, of course, broadcast here in English on Twitch TV.
同时打完了之后呢，利用锤石这个点，利用灯笼，对吧？就完成一波快速的。
那其实锤石加飞机这个组合在下路的爆发。
Again, a best of 3, but at the Demacian Cup, and StarHorn win 2-0. So what does it leave for today? Well, most recently, StarHorn won against Invictus Gaming, so it might be the case here once again. But yeah, StarHorn have been developing quite well. They have switched from this Uzi is the best guy to then Uzi and Insec are the best people on the team, but actually now Korn and Cola are also joining the team as important members. And they are working out the chemistry.
I love that they have the caster's prediction accuracy on there. So the guy in the middle apparently gets more correct predictions, or the most correct predictions. But actually, it was the girl who didn't miss a prediction yesterday. So really nice to see a lot of 2-0 predictions coming out from not just the Chinese casters, but I was looking at some feedback on thoughts before this game, and a lot of 2-0 predictions there. Mostly just because Invictus Gaming has been looking incredibly shaky, and especially in their 2-0 in the Demacian Cup, StarHorn Royal Club have been looking incredibly strong lately. lately. And of course, that has been due in part to maybe allowing more star power on the team rather than just, hey, we're going to feed our AD carry every game and hope that he carries us through all the way. You can see IG on your screen right now, 50% exactly, and that's about the most perfect score you could give them, and it really highlights a lot of their consistency issues. They won World Elite, which is pretty impressive, and then they picked up wins versus EDG, LGD, and all the teams like in LPL, duo lane in LPL, when they look good, they look incredible. Kitties especially. If you give that man a Thresh or any sort of like big engage playmaking support, he knows when to go in.
Yeah, but lately we have seen actually a lot of Thresh bans against PYL, against Kitties, against pretty much every other player in the LPL, so I don't think that we'll get to see this champion. But here we go, StarHorn Royal Club. The last performance is EDG OMG, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, they're looking like Young Glory, taking wins off the top two teams. Of course, SHRC 2-0'd OMG, whereas Young Glory was only able to make it a 1-1. So, you know, doing the best they can. And 65% win rate on the season, still not very impressive, but keep in mind, most of these teams, when they do pick up wins, or both of these teams, when they pick up wins, they tend to tie it up. I think both of them have lead the league in ties this game with 7 and 6 respectively. Or maybe it's 8 and 7 respectively, I believe. So there he is, one of the biggest stars in China. It's UZI. And a couple of quirky games in there with a Kog'Maw. The same thing that I said for Kid is kind of true here, but more so with StarHorn. And one of the big reasons behind their rise to power is maybe taking UZI out of the spotlight. Last split, it was UZI all the way. Everybody sort of lines up behind them, hops in UZI's backpack, and he carries them on to victory. But with Korn starting to see a little bit more kill credit and getting in there with some, still like the big passive wave clears mid laners, but
各位观众朋友，下午好，欢迎收看英雄联盟职业联赛2014夏季赛事。今天也来到本周赛事的最后一天了。
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the LPL. This is the League of Legends Pro League, brought to you in part by our friends at Esports Heaven and Games in Asia, and of course, broadcast to you live here in English on Twitch TV. My name is Rapid. I'm here with Nero, and we're going to be taking you through our two best of two games tonight. First, we got to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown of the games from yesterday, just in case you missed them. This guy's the MVP. This is Going. He's the top lane for OMG, and I was kind of confused about who exactly we were going to give the MVP to in that last game that OMG had last night, but looks like Going was the guy to win it out. It was a 1-1, so maybe a little bit sloppy early on, but OMG at least did pull out one win. And so we'll be updating you guys on the brackets here in just a second. You can see them on your screen right now. IG can take any given day, except that their inconsistency plagues them, so the exact opposite is true as well. They can lose to any team out there at any point in time.
The last 4 games for Invictus Gaming at the LPL are actually ties, so that is this perfect 50% for them. But on the other hand, actually, StarHorn, once again, they are the bomb right now. 2-0 against OMG, 2-0 against Edward Gaming. They have beaten all the best teams out there. So what it is to 2-0 Invictus Gaming once again. It's probably gonna be an easy walk for them. But, well, IG definitely will want to get something for themselves right here. And with this new top laner, well, that might be interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Do Illusion. Now we're coming into the mid lane. It's Zitai, the man with a champion pool so big it's a champion ocean. You can see, I've watched IG or Illusion's champion pool of his last 3 champions every time we see him, and there's almost no situation in which he like plays the same champion 2 games in a row, with the exception of a game a while ago where he had a couple of Lux games in a row that were somewhat questionable. But there he is, the man with the plan on your screen, Kid. And the plan for StarHorn Royal Club has been to just feed him as much as possible and let him carry them out. But recently it has been a little bit more of a switch to let a little bit more carry potential out there. And Kid and Kitties, though, while they may not, nobody's going to tell you that Kid and Kitties are the strongest. Top of the line is OMG, who are just barely up there in first place with their 1 point that they got yesterday. But today, StarHorn Royal Club will be fighting for the first place spot. And they'll be doing that in a best of 2 versus Invictus Gaming. And then coming up for our second game of the night, it'll actually be LGD taking on World Elite. Once again, looking for those precious spots or chances at the first place. So if World Elite 2-0 today, then they'll get 3 more points, and that'll put them up to 21 points, which is just 2 points off that first place spot. So it's still possible, but let's go ahead and break down some of these standings and what the teams are really playing for here tonight as far as placements.
Alright, so LGD, after winning yesterday's match, they are still in the contention for the playoffs, actually. So they will also be trying really hard to win against World Elite. But here is the real deal. Invictus Gaming, they have not been doing too well lately. While on the other hand, StarHorn, they are fighting for the first place spot. So most probably, they're gonna try the hardest right here, but OMG, oh, they have this first place spot in their eyes too. So actually, just looking at the recent performances of both of the teams in StarHorn versus Invictus Gaming, Invictus actually won 2-0 on a best of 3 on IET like a month ago or something like that. Then at the LPL they got a tie, and then once again